that was fighting for gay rights, and people were killed.
Nobody was killed at Stonewall.
Nobody was killed.
RuPaul's Drag Race promo trailers are some of the most highly anticipated things when it comes to the release of a new season. Yet what people don't talk about often enough is when these promos have some Easter eggs within them. Sometimes they can follow a theme, like revealing character traits of a queen that only go on to make sense once we watch the season. For example, in season 6, you can see Gia holding a fish, referencing her tagline, "just landed off the boat like fresh tilapia." Or on the other hand, we have the not so subtle ones that can fly over your head if you aren't paying enough attention, such as Denali on season 13 standing next to the words "in the cold," when her whole brand was about being the Ice Queen, being originally born in Alaska. Now, RuPaul's Drag Race promo trailers are often ranked regarding which ones are the most entertaining, which I love, but I decided for this video to do an in-depth analysis of the trailers to point out the parts that serve as Easter eggs. Feel free to comment any Easter egg that catches your attention below, or any that I may have missed myself. Although speaking of secrets, if you're like me, then you know how important it is to build a good routine. That's why this video is sponsored by Colon Brew. Colon Brew is a high fiber supplement powered by psyllium husk, a natural ingredient that supports digestion, gut health, and even weight management. It's completely vegan, gluten-free, and non-GMO, with no added sugar, so it fits into just about any lifestyle. What's really great is how it helps me feel full and satisfied for hours, meaning I'm not constantly tempted to snack on unhealthy stuff. This simple addition to my day has made maintaining a balanced diet feel, well, doable. But it's not just about cravings. Colon Brew also keeps your digestion in check. It nourishes your gut bacteria, supports regular bowel movements, and helps your body process nutrients more efficiently. Plus, I've noticed such a difference as I started using it. For example, I used to struggle with afternoon snack cravings, especially when I'm busy editing or filming. Now I feel so much more in control, and it's helping me stay on track with my weight management goals. I usually just mix it with water and take it before a big meal. It's super easy to fit into my daily routine. Plus, knowing it's supporting my gut health in the process, that's just an added bonus. That's why you'll be happy to know that Colon Brew is running their Christmas sale of up to 60% off, plus an extra 10% off by clicking the link in the description and using code GREENGAY10 at checkout. That's a total of 70% off, so you might as well give it a try, or even gift it to friends and family for the holidays. Now, let's begin. On season 14, Bosco wears golden shoes in her promo look that stick out from under her dress. Bosco goes on to be revealed more than halfway through the competition that she was the one that got the golden chocolate bar, saving her from being eliminated. Therefore, while Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz constantly flaunted her red ruby slippers, Bosco was more subtle about her special shoes, along with the secret meaning behind them. In the case of Lady Camden, she provided us with a double Easter egg, being shown tripping and falling face down, a reference to one of the most memorable events of the season when she walked the runway, tricking both the viewer and the judges that she had tripped on her heels, only for her to get up with a wig reveal and a funky little mustache. Coincidentally, her promo photo shows her holding a stick with a mustache attached to it, which is yet another little tease for a pivotal part of her brand. This means that Lady Camden is sort of the Taylor Swift of Easter eggs when it comes to leaving breadcrumbs for the fans. Moving on to season 11, Silky Nutmeg Ganache is shown holding a giant microphone, symbolic of how she would go on to be heavily critiqued by both the fans and other queens in the workroom for behaving like a showboat, constantly wanting to be the center of attention. Although that's not all. If you look closely at the beginning of the trailer, you can see Nina West sitting on a giant magician's hat, a foreshadowing of the challenge on the top 6 episode where they do an improv sketch of a magician show, a challenge that Nina would end up winning. Then there's Raja O'Hara, who poses next to a giant high heel. Meanwhile, in the competition, she'd have her heel pressed down on anyone's neck who dared raise their tongue against her. Along with that, Raja pushes Scarlet Envy out of the frame, just like she'd kick her out of the competition once she won the lip sync. Although my personal favorite Easter egg from this season is Brooklyn Heights walking on point. If you knew about her prior to Drag Race, then you would have been fully aware of her ballet skills. Yet most people didn't know, and she'd end up being the first queen to properly walk on point for the entire runway presentation. Next on the list, we're gonna rewind back to season 6. That's considered one, if not the best promo trailer in Drag Race history. And honestly, it deserves the hype. First, we have Bianca Del Rio in a library setting. She highlights the words "throwing shade" on on a book that she's reading. Now, Bianca was the insult comic of the cast, being the best when it came to throwing shade. In fact, the book itself is called Reading to Filth, and the more we see of her, the more pages start flying off the books behind her, meaning that when Bianca's in the library, nobody's safe. Then we have Magnolia Crawford swimming in a teacup with some milk, which is reminiscent of the only look that she got to showcase on the main stage in the infamous cow print. I mean, even the reflection on the spoon kind of gives cow vibes. Yeah, you heard me. Look, some of you are gonna say I'm reaching here, so comment cow if you agree with me, and comment milk if you don't. Anyways, if you pay attention here, we see Laganja Estranja hiding her face from the flashes emanating from Ru's set, similar to how she wouldn't be able to handle the shade from the pressure and spotlight of being on the show, climaxing in her infamous breakdown in Untucked. We also see RuPaul holding all 10 of her fingers, because she knew that this season would receive nothing but tens across the board from any fan that watched it. When it comes to All Stars 3, Ben de la Creme knocks herself out with a disco ball, just like she'd knock herself out of the competition by quitting the show. This was a visual yet sort of genius way to tease the audience, who had no idea what was about to happen. Yet it wasn't just that. You remember how each queen had a little line to say to wind up some hype in the promo trailer? Well, Morgan McMichaels says, quote, competition? What competition? Now, I know what you might be thinking, which is, Green Gay, what could an innocent line like that possibly mean? Well, you better sit down and listen to this. This foreshadows how she'd go on to be the first queen eliminated. So she didn't really have a long time to compete. Therefore, in a sense, she didn't fully get the chance to experience the season properly. So it was as if she wasn't even a part of the competition to begin with. A metaphor that will never be forgotten.
Competition? What competition?
Another important aspect that should be showcased in this video is this close-up of what each queen was doing in the final shot of the trailer. Featuring, of course, Trixie doing a summoning spell, Morgan doing a full show like she's on stage during Pride Weekend at WeHo, and meanwhile Thorgy is just out here spreading her legs. Now, just like spreading legs, I would really appreciate it if you guys gave this video a like right now to help me out with the algorithm. When you do that, along with leaving a comment, it improves the reach of how many people get suggested this video. I also want to let you all know that if you're ever looking for more content to watch, make sure to check out the new playlist I made where I group up my different videos depending on what their themes are. This can help you find more of my hidden gems within the channel. Now, back to the video. On season 8, Robbie Turner asked Naomi Smalls if there's any space available at the salon, because her wig is thirsty as hell. Robbie would actually go on to be known for her hard wig lines and dry wigs. Along with that, Naomi was also the winner of the episode that Robbie would go on to be eliminated in, although that wasn't the only pairing that fell under that theme. Layla McQueen and Naysha Lopez together teases their lip sync in the first episode. Considering the promo for season 8 was filmed right after they taped episode 1, in a way, it must have been pretty awkward for them. Looking at Thorgy Thor holding a fan for Bob could be indicative of how no matter how hard she tried, she'd always end up getting outshined by her, presenting as more of a fan of Bob due to how obsessed she was with her. Speaking of, Bob the Drag Queen and Derek Barry are shown together. Both of them would go on to have a rivalry throughout the competition, leading to them lip syncing against each other. Then we see Acid Betty, Chi Chi DeVayne, Cynthia Lee Fontaine, and Kim Chi all sitting at a station waiting for their hair to dry. There's actually no reason I'm including this other than I thought that it was a really aesthetically pleasing visual. Now let's flash forward to season 13, starting with of course Tina Burner, because how could we not? In the promo, she's wearing this red, yellow, and orange wig, which is basically her way of lubing up the audience because we were about to get shafted by a constant stream of red, yellow, and orange looks from her, which isn't an issue of course, but it's been left up to debate whether it was actually visually appealing or not. So let's continue that debate in the comments. I personally didn't mind it all that much, because A, the colors reminded me of my home country of Spain, and B, they also reminded me of McDonald's. Although Tina Burner wasn't the only one dropping clues about what was to come, which brings us to one of the most important Easter eggs in contemporary pop culture. Joey J standing next to a pile of pink rose petals, followed by a short glimpse of her standing in front of the word truth, without a doubt was her way of foreshadowing the fact that she went on to be the first gay contestant to ever appear on the show, urging viewers to live their truth as their authentic selves. On the other hand, right after Tamisha Iman is shown on screen, Lala Ree is the next to appear, which might seem random at first glance, but if you know your Drag Race tea, you'll be aware that Tamisha was actually the one who got Lala into drag for the first time. time. So then what's next? Well, if we go back 10 years, season 7 starts off strong with the queens walking in pairs, yet some of them were very coincidental. Take Exhibit A, Tempest du Jour and Violet Chachki for example. In hindsight, this was the first eliminated queen of the season, with the queen that would go on to make it to the end and earn herself a crown, sort of giving us the beginning and end of the season story. There's also Kennedy Davenport and Katya, who'd go on to lip sync together in one of the most intense face-offs in a while. Another bonus Easter egg left by Tempest du Jour was her holding a cup that said Best Dad on it. Given that a pivotal part of her one episode storyline was her backstory of being a gay dad of 2 adopted children, it's safe to say that this was her or production's way of teasing the audience. Moving on to season 10, Yua Hamasaki does the splits, just like she'd go on to do in her first and only lip sync against Mayan Miller. Yet the following Easter egg is one that brings me chills every time, and it's the Vixen performing gravity-defying moves. Heading over to season 12, during the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning, the queens are all reciting their lines. And guess who gets the last word? Yes, Jada Essence Hall saying, quote, "I pledge allegiance to the crown." The camera then cuts straight to an actual crown, foreshadowing that Jada would ultimately be the winner of the season. Then we have Gigi Good with her helmet. That was a common theme with the runway package she displayed in the competition. On the more recent side, season 15's promo featured Anitra duck walking during the dance-off, a moment in the talent show that went on to be one of the most viral moments from a season in recent years. Thanks again to Cole and Broom for sponsoring today's video. Look, it's the holidays, so why not try them out? As they're having a sale right now of up to 60% off, plus an added 10% off if you click the link in the description and use code GREENGATE10 at checkout. I want to take a moment to thank my patrons. In the Elite Pink Squad, we have Matthew Burns, Gay Uncle, Sari Tish, Natasha De Leon, Las Potitas, and Cool Gal Nan. And in the Green Squad, we have Cayman Rider Furry, Edgar Allan Pup, The Only Sean, IJS, Alicia and Chloe, Jack Beck, Not a Punch But a Keek, Captain Chaos, Bashir with the Good Beard, Galeria Gomez, Dea, Dea, Sarah G, Scarlet Rose, Boiled Peanut, Kimberly Marin, Max Whale, and Olivia Marr. If you'd like to see your name on the screen, you can support me on Patreon. The link will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like this video and comment below to help me with the algorithm, and I'll see you guys next time.